You're welcome to my channel. We are still continuing with topic 4, elements of taxation, and in this video we are going to be looking at what we call exempt income under income tax. Certain income by law is not taxed and it is referred to as exempt income. So we are going to look at the different income that is not taxed by law. The following amounts are exempt from tax. The first is the income of a listed institution. A listed institution, we said it's an organization that is listed in the first schedule of the Income Tax Act. That's what we call a listed institution. So the income of a listed institution is not taxed. Then secondly, the income of any organization or person entitled to privileges under the Democratic Privileges Act, to the extent provided in the regulations and orders made under the Act, they are also not taxed. A person or an organization that is entitled to privileges. Then the official employment income derived by a person in public service of the government of a foreign country provided. Anyone who is in the public service, anyone who derives income from employment, but he or she is in the public service, they are not taxed. They do not pay income tax. Any allowance payable outside Uganda to a person working in a Ugandan foreign mission. If someone is working outside Uganda, but they're working for Uganda and they receive allowance, that allowance is not taxed. Then the income of any local authority, city council and all that, it's not taxed. It does not pay income tax. Then the income of an exempt organization is also not taxed. Another exempt income we have is any education grant which the commissioner is satisfied has been made bona fide to enable or assist the recipient to study at a recognized educational or research institution. Someone who has a sponsorship to study from a particular school or university does not pay income tax. Then any amount derived by way of alimony or allowance under any judicial order or written agreement. Any amount derived by alimony means contribution. Any amount derived by contribution when they've just given it to you, it's not taxed for income tax purposes. Then the value of any property acquired by gift, bequest, device, or inheritance that is not included in business, employment, or property income. If you receive anything by gift or inheritance, but it does not fall under business, employment, or property income, it is also not taxed for income tax purposes. Another exempt income we have is any capital gain that is not included in business income is not taxed. Then we have employment income derived by an individual to the extent provided for in technical assistance agreement. There is foreign source income derived by a short-term resident of Uganda. Foreign source income derived by a short-term resident of Uganda, it's also not taxed. Then a pension. A pension is also not taxed. Then another exempt income we have is a lump sum payment made by a resident retirement fund to a member of the fund or a dependent of the member. In case of a retirement fund and the payment is being made to the member after retiring or to the dependent after dying, it is not taxed for income tax purposes. Then the proceeds of life insurance policy paid by a person carrying on a life insurance business. Paid by a person carrying on a life insurance business, it's also not taxed for income tax purposes. We also have the official employment income of a person employed in the armed forces of Uganda. The Uganda Police Force or the Uganda Prison Service, other than a person employed in a civil capacity. So those are also not taxed. Another exempt income we have is the income of the government of the Republic of Uganda and the income of the government of any other country. The governments are not taxed for income tax purposes. Then we have the income of Bank of Uganda. They are also not taxed. Then the income of a collective investment scheme, to the extent of which the income is distributed to participants in the collective investment scheme. Like you gather together, you collect money, you invest it. The income you get is not taxed for income tax purposes. Yeah. Then we have interest earned by a financial institution on a loan granted to any person for purposes of farming, forestry, fish farming, beekeeping, animal and poultry husbandry, or similar operations. If a financial institution, let's say a bank, gives a loan to any person who is going to do farming, forestry, fish farming, beekeeping, animal and poultry husbandry, and they earn interest on it, that interest is not taxed for income tax purposes. Yeah, then we have enrollments payable to employees of the East African Development Bank with effect from 1st July 1997. They do not pay income tax. Then the income of an investor compensation fund established under Section 81 of the Capital Markets Act. It is also not taxed for income tax purposes. Yeah, there is the income of a person derived from operation of aircraft in domestic and international traffic or the leasing of aircraft. Things that deal with airplane, something like that. Yeah, so any person who deals in aircraft is not taxed, either domestic or international, is not taxed for income tax purposes. Then the income of a person derived from exportation of finished consumer and capital goods, it's also not taxed for income tax purposes. Another exempt income we have is the income of a person derived from agriculture, where the person applies in writing to the commissioner to be issued with a certificate of exemption at the beginning of his or her investment. Yeah, in case you're deriving income from agriculture and you apply to the commissioner so that they can exempt you from paying income tax at the beginning, you do not pay income tax. Yeah. Then the income derived by a person from managing or running an educational institution, a school, a university, they do not pay tax for income tax purposes. Then interest earned by a person on deposit, auction funds, on deposit of auction funds issued by the Bank of Uganda for the purposes of liquidity management. Yeah, so those were the 27 exempt incomes that we have. Yeah. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share with your friends, and watch my next video. We shall be introducing employment income.